They can do Ninja Gaiden, I think. Maybe they did Dead or Alive poorly, but Ninja Gaiden. Have you seen the movie Ninja Assassin?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
just a
Ninja.
brighter version of that, I think, would be great because that movie was really dark.
Yeah. That was. I couldn't. Did you finish Ninja Gaiden? I couldn't.
I don't have any of those games. I was waiting because they redone every version like twice. So I'm waiting because they just did for 3 because everyone pretty much hated it because they took out like decapitations, all that. I got the demo. I swear I spent like 3 hours trying to beat that thing. Like
It's insanely hard.
Yeah, I was playing as because they added Ionic from Dead or Alive, which is cool. So that's kind of why I want it because every time they redo it as Sigma or whatever for PS3, they always add a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna try to get 1, 2, and 3 because I have like Sigma Black, Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, which adds another character as well, and then Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which is for all the consoles.
I couldn't.
And
It was too hard.
It was.
I started the game off. I immediately walked through it. Literally in the beginning of like Ninja Gaiden, the one that they had for like the Xbox 360. It was like the first. I walked through the doorway. I died because I didn't spin the camera around fast enough to catch the army of ninjas that they had waiting for me around the corner. And then there was a boss in the subway. It was like this big giant god's head of metal. And I hit him with every weapon, and it only took like a sliver of health away. I'm like, I'm not going to be here for hours trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I don't know, why do you require this much of me? This is ridiculous.
It's like Mega Man. It's just in 3D though. It's just impossible.
But Mega Man, it didn't take you 6 hours to kill a boss.
That's true. It might take you 6 hours just to get to the boss though. Like I played the demo for.
But that's based on skill, not because we
It's hard
want
boss,
you.
yeah.
This boss has insane defense.
Yeah. Like I played the demo for 9 or 10, and there was a part of this stupid elephant, and it was like, okay, it blows the ball. There's a little ladder. It blows the ball on the ground. Like, all right, you jump over it, shoot the elephant. There's a space where you can fall and die. So when it's sucking the ball back, you have to jump over the ball and make sure you don't get sucked in. So you take down like a third, then it spits the ball and it's bouncing now, and it sucks it back. So you have to like make sure you don't jump when the ball bounces and walk under it. It was crazy. Like I finally did it.
Mega Man is just an insanely hard game because it requires hair trigger skill to get it through. There are some games. Well, let's jump onto that if we have some time.
Yeah.
Hard versus just plain old impossible, or hard versus just difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, a hard game that requires
fun.
skill.
Normal. You get to hard, it's hard. Then you get to Dante must die or Devil must die, and it's like, okay, they have the one mode that I can do where everybody dies in one hit. I'll just run through the game, shoot you, jump, dodge, shoot everything up, beat the game. Then there's the like last mode, which is in the new one too, where you die in one hit and all enemies are regular. So you have to go, you have to go through the whole game
And never get hit.
Yeah, you can't get touched. Which I feel like I could probably beat the first level. Like I could probably beat the game, except for
That
boss
makes me
fights.
think of
Like
bad.
I could just run through the level and just skip everything. And just not
Fuck
touch-
it, just go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch anybody. I'll shoot to get double trigger up and try to just run faster.
That makes me think of Bayonetta and the grading system in Bayonetta because that pissed me off.
I'm still trying to beat it on one of the hard ones. Once they take away the slow motion when you dodge, it's like impossible. You know the things with the claws? I can't.
No, fuck those.
Yeah, I
Those
can't
are
beat
bullshit.
them. Yeah. I'll be doing. All I do now is the combo with the katana.
Triple dodges just so them not to hit you because if you do one, they're gonna smack you down.
If you jump, they'll do that. They'll teleport into the air. All I do is the katana one where she does the kick and then it's like a wide katana slash, hits everything. That's like all I can do now against those because they move too fast.
I hate the grading system in that game because it's like if I get hit and if I get hit, I take a downgrade. If I try to use an item to bring my health up because that's the only way I can do it, I take a downgrade. It's like at one point I was like
half a death. Like when you die, when they have the skull, it's like half a skull whenever you use the item.
which in my opinion is bullshit because the only other way I can heal is if I taunt. And it only does like that much. So I have to sit here and dodge and taunt for like an hour just to get my health up to half, just so I can, try to get through this mission with some health.
Yeah, it's super. I love the game, but once I put it on like hard and they took out the slow motion, I don't think it's there at all. Actually, even for the item where you can trigger it and stuff, I don't think it's there. So I use the item where you can clone yourself and make triplets pretty much. That's all I use for when I use on my magic. Because other than that, everything takes my health down way too much.
I just completely stopped trying to get a good grade. I said screw it because this
Yeah,
game is
on the hard mode, I try to whatever I can. I just stop hitting statues because some give you health and items, and I was like, some of them are the actual enemy. And once I figured out which ones were and weren't, I was like, I'll just skip that and just break this one, so I don't have to fight. But it gets super hard, but like that game in itself, it's actually really fun to play. And it's just
even though it's difficult, it's just really fun to
yeah,
play.
it's a challenging game, not impossible. Then you have like Ninja Gaiden,
which is just fucking frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for the sake of being hard, and it's not enjoyable. Because it's
Yeah,
just
like
like after you die doing the same thing, because it's like,
there's
fuck.
like 8 enemies. Like in the demo, it's in like some desert area or whatever, and I get to the end section. There are people on like ski-doos in the desert, whatever. They're riding around. Then there are people on scaffoldings, like way in the air, which you have to shoot with your bow and arrow. So I had to upgrade it so that the thing went in slow motion when I was in the arrow mode, because all I could do is just automatically aim and shoot. So I was like, all right, I just have to put it in slow motion so I can do it. And then so you got people in ski-doos. They have rocket launchers, by the way.
Jesus.
So they're flying around with machine guns and rocket launchers. People in scaffolding have rocket launchers. So I have to shoot them with the arrows, dodge all the people running around. I have to dodge the ski-doos or the jet skis, whatever, or I lose damage, obviously. So I finally kill all of them. I thought that was the end. Then these 3 ninjas come out, and they can like shoot blocks at you. So you have to do like a strong attack to break their like telekinetic power thing to attack them. After a while, I just quit. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try strategy. I just went Dragon Claws and just killed them. I just went. It was just like pure strong attacks and just broke the barrier. And I was just like slashing. I was like, this is why these are my favorites. Just pure raw speed and power at the same time. And I finally did it. And then I played with Ayane. And it was super simple at first. And I got to the end, and it was the same thing. It was like the 3 enemies. And at first, I felt like a group of ninjas. I beat them. Then the same 3 style enemies come down and they're bosses. And the problem is I'm in a smaller area, and I don't know how I managed to beat that one, but I think I saved up my power, and it was like as soon as they get near me, I think I figured out. I just charge and just hit them. I run until they did like their charge attack and they missed, and then I just charge for like 2 seconds and just attack because they took down so much health. And then just do a special until I kill them. And I was like,
there's fun difficult and then there's difficult. Like Dark Souls, in my opinion, does difficult right. Because you died in Dark Souls because you didn't follow the 3 basic rules of Dark Souls. Save your health restoring items, never run, always have your shield up. And if you don't have a shield, you are either ballsy or retarded. One of the 2. The only reason you don't have a shield is because you have a sword that acts as a shield. Like that's the basic rule of Dark Souls. You start that game running from place to place. You get in the middle point of that game, you are walking around like Luigi, and Luigi's man's like, Jesus, please don't kill me. Because that game is the memory game, in my opinion. I died because I walked and a boulder fell and crushed me. So now I'm going to walk and I'm going to stop, and then the boulder will fall. And then when I walk past that boulder, an enemy grabs me by my back and throws me off an edge. So now I know, stop, boulder, stab, enemy.
The robot chicken.
Yeah, it's literally like that.
People die until the last person.
It's the memory game. Can you remember how you died? Okay, don't do that. Remember how you ran across this bridge and it fell from under you? Don't do that. Now you survive. But it turns out the bridge fell and crumbled because there's a giant bird underneath it, and it's going to grab you and tear you in 2. So now, you walk forward, stop, bridge crumbles, you pull out your arrows, you kill the bird. Jump across, and guess what? Giant Minotaur demon, and you don't have any... It's the memory game. You just keep going until you can remember how you died, don't do that again, and face the next challenge. I walked into a room that was dark, and I had my shield up, and there's these giant skeleton dog monsters. And I walk into a room, I see eyes. So my immediate thought is shield up, sword out, I'm about to go. They're so big, they can swipe you and push you off the edge. Because Dark Souls is, don't let them fool you, it's a platformer too. If you don't think it's a platformer, you're retarded and you're going to die a lot because it's a platformer. So swipe me, knocks me off, I'm dead. My souls are there right in front of him. So I'm trying to inch closer to him. And I remember one of the rules of Dark Souls is items. Remember items will save your life. So I'm like, I can't see. This area's pitch black. I can't see shit. And if I keep walking around in the dark, I'm gonna fall and he's gonna knock my ass over again. So I'm cycling through my items, seeing what I can do. This item I got in the beginning of the game is a shrunken head. Has no use whatsoever. I pull it out and it lights my way. And I'm like, see, this is classic Dark Souls. When you can't solve it, throw an item in it. See what happens. That game is difficult and fun. You know, and that is what I hold the standard to. Difficult
like
and
the
fun.
perfect balance of challenge and reward, or risk and reward.
Because you're gonna die, so don't worry about dying. Just get it right.
Yeah. And then like Ninja Gaiden, it's just you will die.
You will die, and
It doesn't matter
it's
what
your
you do.
fault
Yeah.
because you suck.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what you do.
Right. There's games like Dark Souls where it's like you're gonna die because you need to learn, and we need you to do this and this and this. So death is our tool. And then there's games like Ninja Gaiden where you're gonna die because you didn't press B fast enough and fuck you.
Yeah, like I was playing it because I had an inflamed tendon on my thumb.
Jesus Christ, see?
No, I had it
See?
before that. I had it before that.
Okay, sure.
But
Sure.
I was playing it and it was okay.
Ninja Gaiden second.
And so I was like, alright, like my hands feeling better, that's good. I'm gonna play Devil May Cry. And I played like Bloody Palace. I was trying to do all the combos. I was like, this hurts too much. Like I'm jumping, trying to do like the thing where you spin and shoots down. I'm like killing everything. I'm like, alright, this hurt. And so I think it was like a few weeks later, I played the demo for Ninja Gaiden. I was like, I just want to beat it so bad, but it hurts so much. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like it hurts so much. I was like, and I was just getting mad. Like this is impossible.
Just sitting there popping aspirins and leave, like, I'm gonna do this. You're about to OD trying to play Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden demo, like in the game.
The demo, exactly.
But it was fun. I mean, you know, like they give you the weapons, go through, pick your upgrades. I was like, all I can do is this freaking flying sparrow, which is where you jump and then he just shoots across the enemies in midair.
So you basically
like
Sonic
my
the
foot,
shit out of it.
yeah, it's like if my foot is on the ground, they're just gonna block and shoot like seismic rocks at me. Like I can't.
You're gonna top the hell out of me. I need to stay here.
Just like, okay, just need sparrow all day.
Just Sonic them to death, really.
But you know, it was a fun game because you know, just good ninja action, but it's freaking impossible to do.
Your game is hard, but unexpectedly hard. Animal Crossing.
I've never played
That game is hard. It's addictive, and the hard part is finding the fun in doing mundane tasks. Because you'll have a point, like I want to buy this, I want to do this, I want to have an upgrade for this. And then halfway through you'll just go, why am I doing this? Why? It's like The Sims. Halfway through you're like, why am I doing this? Why is this fun for me? I'm fishing for profit. Why? This is
everyday life.
right. This
Game.
is someone's shitty life I'm living. Why am I doing this?
I think games in general, though, recently, you know, current gen, probably last gen, started to get a lot simpler as far as puzzles and stuff. Because, you know, like we have less platformers than we used to, and the ones we do have are generally like Mario and Donkey Kong, where it's really just go to point A to point B without taking too much damage, and not like Double Fine style games where it's really puzzle based in a lot of areas, or you know, like old Resident Evil games and stuff like they used to be, which is ridiculous. I was playing it, 'cause like I said, I beat it yesterday, and I'm running around trying to figure out this freaking puzzle. And they have this area that's like in the original one where you take the jewels out of the tiger's eyes, or the tiger's eyes. And so I took it out and I got my items, and it's like, it seems to run on electricity. I'm like, oh, why is it telling me this? I don't know. So I go through it. It's like 2 hours later in the game, and and I have to use the same jewels to open this one music box and take the thing out and put it in the other music box in the next room. And I'm like, how in the world do I do this freaking thing? And then I went back, I'm like, okay, I can't take out both jewels at once because it'll turn if you take off the blue one. So I'm like, okay, what the heck? And I'm like, it says it runs on electricity. So I had to run back into the room and I had to turn the power off. And I was like, I finally freaking figured it out. It took me like an hour to remember it said it runs on electricity, which seems like, I'm like, it seems so dumb that you need to tell me that.
Right, you
And
didn't
it's like-
realize.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's like 2 hours later. Now I need
Those
to,
are puzzles. Those are
Yeah.
the ones I'm like, you're like, oh shit, what am I supposed
I
to do?
don't even know where I'm going.
And it's based on something earlier, that's some Tomb Raider puzzles
Yeah.
right there.
Like I was running around, I was like, oh, I could, like it was a bunch of stuff I could have done, but I didn't go into this one room and I went into the thing and I got the cutscene with Claire and I switched the characters and stuff. And then when I went back around, I was like, oh, I could have actually done like all of this stuff before I even went to Claire, because it wasn't any puzzle stuff at that point. It was just go, like you can get certain items. Like I could have got this key for the room and stuff. And I was like, oh, like that's pretty cool that I could have done it that way. I just didn't because I forgot to go in the room. But like,
have you ever played Psychonauts?
no,
You gotta play it. Because that game, I love the puzzles in that game. Simple, but fun.
yeah,
It's all about using your powers. And I heard they're making it too. I really want to see that too.
I don't know that because I know that should be pretty good.
Because the first one was amazing. I love Psychonauts. That game was fun.
I always, those kind of do some great games. I was really sad to hear they weren't doing Brutal Legend 2. Because personally, I really love Brutal Legend. Like
Brutal
a lot
Legend
of
is a great game.
a lot of the songs they had, I hadn't heard before, and now they're some of my favorite songs. I think Skid Row was in that, and I had never heard that song before that game, and it's like one of my favorite songs.
That's
But
a
like,
good game.
like all the powers were cool. The car, certain upgrades get certain stuff. Different guitars give you like more electric powers, like lightning powers or fire powers. And I thought the story was actually really good too. And it was more in depth than I thought it was going to be.
It was a fun game. The RTS elements were a little shoddy, but it was a fun experience overall. The thing was, once you started losing towers, it was just
It
a
was really
snowball
hard,
effect. And if you weren't paying attention to the enemy general, then that would screw you up too, because they can also land down and screw everything up for you.
I don't know. I really, the only thing I didn't like about that was that you couldn't, like I hate when games do this, but you can't pick certain chapters of the game to play. And you have to replay the entire game to get to a certain point. Like I always say when games do that.
Yeah.
And I hate when games just have one save file too. Which I don't know why we even still have those today, but some games still do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that one did.
No, we have multiple.
That one had multiple, but it was some game I wanted to play. Where it's like you have to restart.
The entire thing to play it over again.
Yeah.
Those are some fun games. If you get a chance, check out Psychonauts. It is a good game. There was a humble bundle for it not too long ago. You could have got it, but
I was gonna get it.
it's cheap as hell now.
Yeah.
But it was a great game.
One of the things I like, I guess we could do another subject. We're talking like an hour, I think, or hour and a half almost. Like 1/5 hour, 15.
All right.
Which one?
That's fine with me. I'm enjoying it.
One of the things I thought about recently was franchises that have like they're kind of like perfect franchises almost, where they have like great sequels and stuff. And the one that really came to mind was Max Payne. Like I love, if you've never played Max Payne, it's made by Remedy. They're like one of my favorite publishers. They've done Alan Wake. That's one of my favorite games too. And they're doing a new game for Xbox One. I keep forgetting the title. It's like Quantum something, but it's like a cool, like you manipulate time, like you play as agent and stuff. But like Max Payne 1 and 2 were fantastic games, and 3, even though it's not made by Remedy, it's just Rockstar on their own. I thought for what it was like an amazingly well done sequel. The only thing I hated was they took out the fact that you could have like all items. Because in Max Payne, you could just have you'd have like a baton and a grenade and Molotovs, and you'd have like 12 weapons at once. Then this one, you can only have like 2 single-handed and 1 two-handed weapon. But it was still really fun. They redid bullet time. It's like more dynamic. If you bump into a wall, they like slide down and stuff.
Mhm.
It was just really cool, and the story was really sad compared to the other ones. Like in the first 2, people die, but in this one was like everybody you're trying to save.
Big Games
gets
of Thrones.
brutally, and it's just like, man, like I didn't think it would be as dramatic as it was. It's like people just get like murdered and like set on fire. It's like he's just trying to save everybody, and it just goes wrong over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
But like I love those games, great franchises. 1 and 2 have stuff that I always like to about games where you can do certain things. Like I think it's in 2, where if you're in his apartment and you can talk to certain people, you can get certain items, like his neighbors. And there's a woman who like opens up her cabinet or whatever. He said, because some people come in the hallway and he like kills them, and she comes out and she says something, and he's like, just stay in your room and lock the doors. And she's like, if you need anything, you can take this and you can get painkillers and stuff. But if she opens the door and you like just blast her and get the items, which you can do, you can just like kill whoever you want.
Oh my god.
She's just like, what's wrong? And you just kill her and just walk around the hall for no reason.
What's going on? Blam!
It's just like nothing, for no reason, you just kill everybody.
Kick in the door and take all the painkillers.
And like there's a part in the same, I think it's the same level actually, where you meet other characters. It was like, like this hobo who's sleeping. It's like his lives in like the worst place ever. But there was like a hobo in the lobby, and you can like kill the enemies when they come in. And if you save him, and you can save this woman who's like a prostitute trying to get out, if you save them both, the hobo guy, he's a cop, and you can give them both guns, and so they'll help you and stuff. Or you, like I said, you can just kill them for no reason too. But it's like cool little dynamic stuff.
That is cool, actually.
Yeah.
Using your environment to your advantage and things of that nature. That's really cool.
One of the things they did, which I caught this, they took watching TV from Max Payne, where you can do that in like Grand Theft Auto and stuff now. That was because they did that in Max Payne, where you could watch the TV shows. Well, you can like watch it like in Grand Theft Auto, but they were on TV, Lords and Ladies and Address Unknown and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
You can actually
I didn't know that.
you can like listen to what they were saying. It would be like a full episode, and they had like a blaxploitation show of Injustice, and it was basically the story of Max Payne, but it was just like a lot funnier. Like it was raining, and the guy was like, it was raining. It's like all the angels in heaven decided to take a piss on the head at the same time and stuff. It was funny, but it was like the same story for Max Payne, but it was really good.
That sounds cool. Another cool franchise that I liked, although I guess it got mixed results in the end, was Hitman. That series was great. I loved the hell out of the second one.
I think I played the first. I think it had to have been 7 because I remember hearing the first one was PC only, wasn't it, or something like that.
I'm not sure because I didn't get into it until late, and then I played the second one, and the second one was I just loved that one because I loved the idea of being able to kill people any way you wanted, but there was a really cool scripted way to do it. Like
you could do it this way.
Right, you can do it any way you want. You can literally come in and just blam, 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 everyone's dead. And then, afterwards it'd be like, hey, Agent 47 killed more people again because he doesn't give a shit about anonymity. And then there was you're just a silent killer. And then there was the assassin. There's this person died, no one knows why. And then there's a fucking assassin killing people. We can't catch him. There's no traces of him left. I love that aspect of the game. That you can do anything, or you can be stealthy. They never knew anyone did it, or they thought they knew someone did it. They have no idea who, and it scares the crap out of them. And I played the second one twice. One where it was just like this guy died, and one of them was this guy had a birthday party for his kid at his house. He would go upstairs in his room, and to check security or something like that. Or there was like a safe room up there. No, yeah, that's what it was. There was a safe room up there where he would go. In his like office, and he had all the security guards, blocking the door. He would come out occasionally, check on his daughter, then go back in. You had to kill him and his wife. And his wife was a drunk. She would go into the study and drink. Like she had a liquor bottle in the study. So if you dressed up as the clown, if you snuck in there dressed up as the clown, you could go into the back room with her. She tried to sleep with you, and you could kill her. Now you could poison her liquor before she got in there, and then she would just choke down the liquor, and it would look like she died of alcohol poisoning. Then you could go upstairs to the guy, and I think you could rig it. You could rig something to shock him, like the computer, something to kill him or something like that. And it was just really cool to go through and do it like that, to try to get there like that. And then there was he died, we don't know how.
Yeah.
Then there was someone's killing people way, which is there was a sniper rifle in a treehouse in the next yard. His wife was in her study. You could see her clearly. You could see the upstairs clearly. If you were quick, you could pop her, pop him, leave. And that was the holy shit, someone's killing people. We don't know how he's
doing, or where he's at.
Right. And those are my favorite ways. I just love going through the two different ways. And another one was, there was a guy who was in a play, and you had to kill the guy who was in the play, and there was one scene where they were crucifying him, and then they all shot him. It was like he was a soldier or something. So the quick way to do it, where someone was killing, but they didn't know how, was to replace one of the fake ones with a real gun.
Yeah.
And then the guy who in the balcony who was watching them rehearse, you could go kill him. I think the one good way to do it would be to sneak up there with him, and while he's on the balcony, pull him down, and he falls to his death. Because he always gets a standing ovation, you can make it look like he fell. And then the badass way to do it would be to disguise yourself as one of the people when they're on stage. You shoot the guy, and then you turn around and kill that guy, and then you leave. And while they're busy trying to figure out how he died, you've killed both of them, and you leave, and they're like, this guy, he just shot him, and then he shot him, and he's gone. No one knows who he is or how he got there. And I just love that.
Alright, so the battery died right there, so another little edit. So what were we saying?
We were talking about Metal Gear Solid, and that we can't talk about that until we get James here.
Yeah.
He will murder us all. He will. Or he will comment the shit out of this video, and we'll have to disable comments because he will just tear us apart. I did a joke about Metal Gear Solid once. He almost killed me. He's like, no, that's not true. No, you can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. He just went nuts on me. I can't talk shit about Metal Gear Solid. It pisses him off.
I can't really think of another franchise that I would really consider perfect. I mean, their franchises, obviously, they have great sequels. A random one to mention would be Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. The movie games were actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
The first one was good. The second one was my favorite out of the three, obviously. And 3 I kind of hated because they changed so much. I didn't like the graphics for that one either. Like 2 looked better than 3 did. They had the sort of trying to make it look really realistic style for 3. And I didn't enjoy it as much. You couldn't be symbiote Spider-Man after you beat the game. You could only be regular Spider-Man. But the first game was great. It had a ton of unlockables. You could play as a Green Goblin if you got enough points and unlocked him as a character.
That was when you picked up comic books for points, right? The first one?
I don't think so. That might have been the second one.
Was the second one the one where Doc Ock got infected by a symbiote, and you, like the last leg of it, you had to outrun him through the... No, or was that the first one? Because I remember there was one for PlayStation.
Well, that might have been the different. That's probably the one for PlayStation. Because the PlayStation one was when the symbiotes pretty much took over, and you start off as Spider-Man. That was, I wish if they could remake, if I could pick one game, that would probably be one game I'd have remade. Like that, or I guess one of the Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 3 if I could pick.
I have to go with Final Fantasy VII if they're
yeah.
I have to because that game.
It's Final Fantasy VII.
It's Final Fantasy VII. That is the
I'm
whole
sure
thing.
yeah, I think that's automatic at some
That-
point, I think.
When the creator dies, because
Yeah.
he refuses to let them do this, when he dies and they bury him, within the next hour, they will announce the remake of Final Fantasy VII. I'm so sorry for your loss if you just sign here, because we have to
Like, they
make
need a gajillion dollars.
We need a gajillion. I swear to God, we could charge $70 and gamers would throw money at us. It would be
That's- yeah.
insane. Games for a year, GameStop would need to prepare for that day because people would flock in droves just
Like,
to touch
the
this.
mall would be full over there. They,
Right.
Like, have to do, they have to do like a 10 o'clock release.
Exactly.
Just to have everyone out by midnight or something.
It would be insane if they did that. That almost sold the PS3. The PS3 would have killed everything
Yeah,
if they came out with that.
redid Final Fantasy something.
Because they did the movie just to show off the graphics, and everyone was like, "Oh yes, yes," just like this. I have to choose that, or either that or shit, I can't think of
Was it action?
the name. It was an action game. I could never get it right. It was one for the Super Nintendo. No, it was an RPG. Chrono Trigger.
Oh, Chrono
If they could redo that, that would be great. Not like they did with the DS, but like do
Update graphics and all that stuff.
Right.
Like a complete remake of the game.
That
They
would be
did that
awesome.
with, have you ever played the Resident Evil 1 remake?
I heard of it. I never played it though.
Yeah, that's a, like, if, I can't really think of any games that have actually been remade, but I consider that like one of the top remakes ever. Like, it's my favorite one. It's like the best one once they redid it. Because they had, they made Zero. They like finally did it because they had been idea for N64. They just didn't do it. But they made Zero for GameCube and then they did the remake. And it was like excellent. They had the Crimson Head Zombies, which are the new ones. And I mentioned all the stuff in the last video, but you know, the graphics are amazing too. Like, those would be like HD graphics, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That'd be great. I want to see them do. I don't want to see them do it because I know it would be a travesty, but I want them to do a Kirby thing. That would just be awesome.
Like,
It would be creepy as hell. It would be creepy.
HD Kirby.
HD Kirby would be creepy as fuck. I'm sorry. Kirby in a 3D universe would just be creepy.
They never did. I guess they did. I guess the closest they did was N64, where the graphics were 3D, but it didn't.
It was
wasn't
2D.
actually. Yeah.
Kirby,
It
I don't
was
think Kirby
fun.
would work in a 3D world. That would just be
It'd be-
really awkward.
I think it could. It would just be a little. I guess considering, I don't know, it's not as simple as Mario in 3D because he does a lot of different stuff. I guess it's just Kirby just sucking up people and
Taking their powers
finding
away.
keys. Yeah, finding keys.
When you think about it, Kirby's really, really creepy. And he is like the ultimate power in the Nintendo world when you think about it. Because he can rip the powers from anything. Anything he can fit in his mouth, he can steal your powers. And most things he doesn't, like Smash Brothers introduced the fact, well, oh, well, he spits you back out. No, when Kirby swallows you, you die.
Disappear, yeah.
You're dead. That's what happens. Or you turn into a star,
Yeah.
which is, if you know, like that is condensed energy that he is spewing out of him. This is like some Ben 10 bullshit. Like, Kirby's physiology is he is an energy being. I swear to God, that is what he is. That's what, because like no, that's the thing. Like Meta Knight is the same thing Kirby is, but he uses a sword. And they never say what they are because they're not Warp Star Knights. That's just like what Meta Knight is. Kirby is like an energy being. I'm sorry. If you've ever played the games and like critically thought about all the shit that he does, he is a god among men. Like one of the stories to one of his games is he was asleep and King Dedede stole food from him. He stole like one thing from Kirby. He stole a tomato from Kirby. He stole something from everybody else. Kirby didn't give a shit. He stole his tomato. So Kirby beat the shit out of everybody and killed them on the way to his house. Challenged him to a boxing match in his house. Beat him, threw him out of his house. Flew his house into the air because apparently Kirby has the power to inflate himself to sizes of unimaginable proportion and dropped everything over everyone, showered them in food, and then threw his house away somewhere and went back home. There was a game, this is my favorite Kirby story. In the Superstar Saga story, sequels, there was one where Kirby where Kirby was trying to go to sleep, and the sun and the moon were fighting, and he was so pissed. He went to all these other planets to gather their power, and walked up to the sun and moon and forced them to stop fighting. He literally broke them apart and summoned God when he did that. And God offered him one wish. And some guy who came from nowhere knocks Kirby out of the way and wishes to be all powerful. Kirby gets so pissed off, he kills that man. He kills him and then goes home and goes to sleep like he originally wanted to. This is because he couldn't handle soft light from the sun and the moon fighting. He forced them to stop. And then, he destroyed God and then killed that guy because he was pissed that the guy shoved him and took his wish. That was the best in ever. He just forces the sun and the moon to stop. No, the God offers, that was his wish to make them stop fighting, I'm sorry. He forces them to stop fighting on his own. The guy takes the wish, he kills God, kills that guy, and then goes home and goes to bed like he originally wanted. Because Kirby is a god.
Simple thing. Yeah.
Smash Brothers. Kirby was the linchpin in all the good guys' plan. Did you know that? Like in Smash Brothers, all the bad guys had that big floating castle that was part of the two dimensions. Did you know everyone with a flying ship distracted them so that Kirby could come in from the side and slice the castle in half? Yes. That's the scene. Meta Knight, Kid Icarus and all the angels, Samus and her ship, all the good guys ride their ship towards the bad guys, and the bad guys are on this giant castle, and they shoot all those ships down, and you're like, oh man, and then you see this glint, and then you see Kirby, and then the castle is sliced in two and falls apart. I'm like, holy shit. He just sliced the castle in two. He is literally riding a star, and he just sliced the castle in two. He has no sword. He did it with his fist. Kirby is God. That is what that is. Kirby is an all-powerful being.
They don't really reflect that in the cartoon.
No, they don't. In the cartoon, he's just some goofball, child thing that just so happens to have this amazing power that people have to remind him that he can use. Kirby, suck this up. It's like, Kirby, swallow and do it now. You can do this. Why do you not just do it automatically? In the games, he is a ball of badass.
Literally.
Yes. Play Superstar Saga and you will realize how badass Kirby is. Meta Knight has a ship. Kirby is flying around, and Meta Knight realizes that if I'm going to take over the world, I have to kill Kirby first. So he shoots Kirby down. Kirby is shot down. He immediately, flies back to the ship, gets on the ship. They end up shooting him off the ship again. You spend the rest of that game trying to find a way to get on that ship so that you can kill him. You end up enlisting the help of a bird whose ass you kicked in a previous game. And it turns out, you were pissed off at that bird because the bird was taking apples that you didn't even care about. And he was just taking food and you decided to go kick its ass. So you do. You almost kill it, but you stop because you found out that it was doing that to feed its babies. So as the add insult to injury, you take its babies, you teach them how to fly, and then you release them back into the wild. So you kick their mama's ass. She is literally recovering for years, and you spend the rest of that time training them to become badass, birds of prey. In that game, you later find her, you force her to take you to the ship, and then you blow the ship up. And before you can leave, you have to fight Meta Knight, and Meta Knight will only fight you if you pick up a sword. So you pick it up, and most people do this immediately. They bring a partner in there with them. They pick the sword up, they throw the sword away because fuck that. They take that partner and they kick Meta Knight's ass like a man. You set them on fire or ice. Or my favorite was throwing ninja stars that exploded because apparently that's a power that you can get. I don't know how.
But probably based on everything you just said, that's probably why Kirby.
If Kirby could talk,
zero text and dialogue.
If Kirby could talk, it would be like Dogma. His voice would cause your head to explode because it is that grand.
Just violence.
Exactly. Kirby is violence incarnate.
Just cussing at people and just yelling the whole time.
Yeah.
Either yelling or flat out killing people.
Kirby does talk. If you suck in a microphone enemy, and when he does, it kills everything on the screen. That is Kirby's God, I'm telling you. They need to remake a Kirby game that truly shows how badass Kirby is.
Didn't they do All-Star Saga thing, wasn't that like a few years ago?
Yeah, they redid it again, because it was originally for the Super Nintendo, and then they did it again for the DS.
Wii. I thought it was for the Wii.
I think it might have been for the Wii too.
Yeah, because it was like the 25th anniversary thing or something.
Yeah, that was it,
And
yeah.
it was like every game except for the new ones for the Wii.
Yeah, that I was like, even then, Kirby's God, because he takes his enemies apart. Now, granted, they're yarn, so it doesn't look as graphic as it was if it was real, but think about this from his perspective. He literally just rips you asunder and folded and used your skin to make a tank that he rides in. It's like, Jesus Christ. You don't think about it because they wrap it in this cutesy package. He is a demon. Kirby is a demon from hell. Kirby's the Antichrist. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Kirby is the Antichrist. The world will end when Kirby rises and destroys everything. Because he can, on a whim. He lives in our dreams now. He will become our worst nightmare. This is the last thing I'll say, because I'm ranting now. There was one of the games in Superstar Saga where everyone's having a contest to see how hard they can punch the ground. Kirby gets to the point where if you time his attack right, he will punch so hard it splits their planet in two.
I think I played that one.
Yes, that's how badass he is. Most other people, they just crack the ground. Maybe, crack a bit of the equator. No, he will punch the earth in two. Just because he can, and because someone dared him to.
Destroy planets and just eat everybody.
Right.
Makes for fun games, though, I guess, if you don't really think of it that way.
If you don't think too much of it, it's just a really cutie game. But when you add realism to it, he swallows people and uses their energy to create these abilities that are just like theirs. Or he will spit you out in a ball of raw energy that he will chuck at somebody.
You already have one power and just spit you out and start to kill somebody else.
Right. If that was real, he would literally be spitting out a miniature sun that he chucks at someone.
Yeah, I never once thought of it that way. But
You have to think of abstract ways to look at games, and they will throw them all into perspective for you. Like if you think of Mario, if you look at Mario in an abstract way, that game is insane. What he does is crazy. This guy found mushrooms that alter his genetic coding that makes him grow taller and taller. And it's crazy. And he found a flower that he eats, and his body's natural reaction is to erupt fire from his palms. It's crazy. And then you think about the shit that he faces. Goombas are like failed toadstools that bite him when they get close. So you just got to picture these tiny little brown things that look like Gollum rushing at him, trying to bite at his ankles. And piranha plants have to be scary as shit from his perspective. To us, they're just red little cute flowers. To him, imagine the Venus flytrap from Little Shop of Horrors spitting fire at you and trying to bite you. It's scary as shit. You would never go down a warp pipe. If you ever saw one of those coming out of it, you'd be like, no, fuck that. No, I will dig underground before I take one of those. God forbid one of those things is in it. The turtles, they're his size. He's fighting Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles every fucking day. Dragon turtle monster with spiked shells. It's like, what the hell? He has to face bullets that are alive.
Bullets with fists.
With fists. Not only are they moving to the point where if you touch them, they'll kill you, but they will punch you. Bullets with fists, jackasses that throw boomerangs and hammers at him. He rides a dinosaur, for Christ. Yoshi's a raptor. I don't know who told. From the Super Mario movie, Yoshi's a raptor. He's riding a raptor. He's doing what we joke about in memes every day. I ride a raptor and force it to kill things. I punch it on the back of the head so it can eat things. You know how badass that is? That is on Chuck Norris levels of badass. Yeah.
I guess they're just checking.
That's, you got to think about games in an abstract way, and it's just awesome. Mario rides a raptor and destroys tiny little brown gremlins, and Raphael from the Ninja Turtles, just so that he can fight a T-Rex that breathes fire.
Why is it Raphael? Just
Because Raphael is just Raphael.
Yeah.
If it was like Leonardo or Michelangelo, you're like, oh,
Too nice.
too nice.
They wouldn't attack.
Right, they'd be like, dude, that's cool. Raphael would just attack him blindly. That's why.
Yeah.
You gotta think about
Yeah,
that.
I think it's only works for older games because now everything.
Newer games, you can't really
Yeah.
do that. But
There's
with
nothing
older
abstract
games-
about it. It's you killing everybody.
Right. You can't go abstract with Call of Duty and Bayonetta. They're abstract in themselves. You gotta go old school. What's another cool old school game that is fun to think abstractly about?
It's Legend of Zelda.
Zelda.
I mean, he technically shoots laser beams from the sword.
Yeah, technically he is the original lightsaber user. He is the original Jedi. Because he's better than Jedi, because he doesn't need a lightsaber. He can channel that energy into metal and fling it at you. That's how badass that is, man. Link is, if you think about what Link goes through, his entire world is designed to where humans technically shouldn't exist because of everything that's trying to kill them. I mean, think about this. You have villages where they're safe and everything. He lives in a world where if you abuse a chicken, it will summon a swarm of them to murder you. That's how his world is designed, where humans technically should have died out years ago. And this guy braves everything to save a princess who later doesn't do anything for him. She just goes back to her life. He goes back to his shitty life. Like the original game, like the one, not the original game, the one for the original game was bullshit because you didn't even get a sword. You had to find the sword. So this is a man with a shield, like Jesus Christ. No, like the one for the Super Nintendo where like your father died trying to save this girl. You pissed off an evil wizard who, as you tried to kill him, banished you into a world full of monsters and demons, and you fought your way back to save this princess who was like, thank you. And then you just went home to your empty house, knowing that your father died, and all you had to show for it is a shitty sword that you pulled from a stone, a shield that is, at this point, is probably dented beyond all repair, and she didn't even get money. You're just like there now. You live in the middle of the woods surrounded by monsters and shit. And you went through hell for that woman. Literally went through hell for that woman. You faced shit that would make normal people shit their pants. Let's be honest. There was one...
demons and stuff.
Right.
Sword.
There is one boss that is literally a giant centipede that just dashes around the room randomly and then will lunge at you. I don't like normal sized centipedes. If I saw that, if I got into a room and I just saw that, I'm walking away. Fuck it. Hyrule is done. Okay, fine. It is gone. All praise Ganondorf. Well, why didn't you stop him? Because there's a room with a giant centipede in it. I'm not gonna fight that. I don't care. I'm not going in that room. It's just like when I played the one for the 64, and there's the first boss you face a giant spider with one eye, and it's on the ceiling, and he will only fight you if you look up at him. And my dad is literally screaming at me to look up, Brandon. Just look up and you can fight him. It's not that bad. I'm like, no, I don't want to play anymore. I'm not looking up at that. I'm not doing it. That blows is where I draw the line. Hyrule's dead. I'm sorry. I'm not looking. Giant spider, giant centipede.
Screw the kingdom.
Right. Fuck the kingdom. I'm going home. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go live.
I just throw my boomerang around a little bit until we all die.
Right. Fuck
It's
it.
like knock leaves off the trees.
Exactly. I'm just gonna go cut grass and get money until we all die. It's the same thing for one of my favorite Zelda stories is Majora's Mask, and I love looking at that abstractly because it's just funny as shit. Giant moon face. And the funny thing about it is you don't notice it. Link never notices the moon face until it's pointed at him. No matter if you look at it, you even have a telescope and you watch it cry. But on that third day, when the Skull Kid says, and the moon is alive, Link looks up and goes, oh shit, it has a face. Because apparently I couldn't see it for the 3 days it's been staring at me intently. And the fucked up part about that is that the masked man is a big douchebag. He has the ability to reverse time on his own, and he does it on the third day. after the moon kills you. Specifically, after you get burned in a wall of fire, he brings you back right after and then tells you, you should hurry up and get the mask. And the first time that happened, I was like, you are a dick. You could have brought me back before that happened. You waited until I burned to bring me back, to enforce the point that I need to get your mask back. Fuck you. If he didn't immediately take the mask from me after I got it back, I would have put it on and just fucked his life up.
I think that's pretty simple. You can just say
Terminator.
The armed Terminator.
Right. It's just fucking crazy. It is fucking insane. But when you think about that, don't
The simplicity of how everything looks compared to what it is, and now how everything.
Could you imagine Donkey Kong in realism? How scary that would be for a giant gorilla and a chimpanzee to fight a crocodile?
A chimp with a jetpack.
A chimp with a jetpack. And let's not even get the guns in on it, because apparently they have evolved to the point where they can fashion guns from wood that fire fruit and nuts and beans at people. But let's talk about the fact that there's this huge fucking gorilla that can grow even bigger, like King Kong size, but it's still a pussy. It's still afraid. How scary that shit would be? That shit would be scary as fuck. No one would go to that island. Kong Island would probably have been nuked. Because no one... Right. We send Bear Grylls over there and he died like day one because he eat a banana and Donkey Kong just snap his neck. It's scary as fuck. That would be scary as balls, man.
King Kong Island. I have the game.
And I want to know how on that island naturally forms a monkey's face on its mouth. Because that'd be weird as fuck just to see. Like, what the hell? What is that? And then you go to the island and that monkey's there. It's like, what the hell? What the and crocodiles the size of people. God, it was
King Kong.
right.
It's like fighting a T-Rex.
Right, fighting a T-Rex and that would be the best thing to watch ever. But no one would ever go there, ever, never.
You'd be like in a helicopter 100 miles away with a telescope, like super telescopes and stuff.
Right, did that
Like
monkey
the
just
stars.
punch an alligator in the face? What the hell's going on down there?
Remember the game, King Kong game, when you play as King Kong, you fight the dinosaurs like in the movie. And he had like kill moves where you like break their jaws and stuff.
I remember that shit too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was an interesting game. This movie-based games in general. How long have we been talking? Like almost 2 hours.
Almost
Or a little over 2 hours, I guess. I have to edit this like crazy because I don't know with the battery cut and all that stuff, all the different chunks. I might just put this section as abstract games and we can do video game movies, which we sort of did with the Spider-Man, but the King Kong the movie, the game. I don't know if that's
The
actually.
movie, yeah.
I think that's what it was actually called because they did Street Fighter the movie, the game. It was the actual title of that game, which was like
It's like
it
Peter
was kind of like
Jackson's
the
King
Mortal
Kong
Kombat.
game, the movie.
Yeah, everybody just meant Peter Jackson's King Kong the game.
I don't know. There was some goofy shit. I don't know.
It was actually okay. There were.
I'm talking about the title.
Oh yeah, but the game wasn't horrible or anything like that. It has some interesting concepts like you get a spike or whatever, and if you lit it on fire, obviously you had a spike with fire, and it was easier to fight dinosaurs. Like, I remember a part I was in like a waterfall, and I wouldn't leave because there was a dinosaur in front of me, and he wouldn't go in the water, but I couldn't leave because I had like a spike. So all I could do is like throw a spike at this dinosaur, and that was it, because I had like no bullets. I don't know how I ended up doing that, but yeah, it's like you throw spikes, and you have like your pistols and stuff, but when you play as King Kong, you pretty much destroy like the people who live on the island, and you fight dinosaurs.
You
like,
fuck with their lives.
You pick up raptors and pterodactyls and just like toss them, and you actually like punch and kick.
T-Rex.
Yeah, T-Rex, yeah. But
Picture him chucking raptors and
yeah, you like pick
pterodactyls.
up a raptor and just toss it at a bunch of people. And everybody
Jesus,
just
no!
dies. And then you play as the guy, and it's like it's freaking impossible when you find like a giant.
I was a god at home.
There were giant centipedes in that game, actually.
No, fuck that. I
Yeah,
can't do
they were like
giant
giant centipedes, and you have to like throw the Spears Atom.
Fuck that noise.
And that's
No.
pretty much the only thing you had unlimited. It's like you can
This is why I
swap
can't
it
be a
out.
hero, because the second I run into the insect enemy, I'm fucking done. That's it. Game over. I'm leaving. I'm not moving forward. We're not doing this.
Have you ever played? Have you seen X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yes,
Have you played the game?
I did not.
The game is amazing.
I had tried it.
The game, for anyone who hasn't played it, if you've seen the movie, even if you haven't seen the movie, you should play the game. The game is what I wish the movie was. Is what I've always wanted for Wolverine, which was a brutal Wolverine game. And they kind of did that with the X-Men 2 video game, which didn't even follow the story of the movie. It was just called X2 Wolverine's Revenge. But it doesn't even remotely follow the movie. You're like,
I heard good things about that game.
it was a fun game. It just didn't follow the movie at all. It was like you fight Juggernaut at one point, you fight Magneto at the end of the game. It does like flashbacks and stuff. It starts off you're in like you're in Antarctic or whatever, and then does like a flashback to Weapon X, and you go through the facility and you fight Sabretooth at one point. And they had a cool stealth aspect to it where he would use his senses where you could track people through
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they had like stealth kills where if you were against the wall, it would show you what the image would look like if you killed the person. And he like would jump around the corner and press the person up against the wall, like stab him through the heart and kill him. And they had like really cool moves where it was like two enemies were on your side or one was on your side. And yeah, it would do like different moves based on what it was. And eventually it got to 4 people if they were all surrounding you. You do like the kill all of them off. But it was pretty fun, and then the Origins game was just like insane. You like decapitating people.
Jesus
And like
Christ.
there is a grab move where he'll grab a guy, and he just stabs him in the neck and just rips down, and just like 3 giant claws and rip the guy. And it was like it's an insanely fun game. It's super bloody though. Like he'll pick them up and like slam them on the spike. You can like lunge at people. Like the start of the game is that's like the only part that's really like the movie pretty much. And he's in the helicopter gets shot and he falls out. So you're like falling through the sky, like you fall like thousands of feet. And there's these people fighting each other and this one guy looks up and it goes into slow motion and he just like slams into the guy, it's just like and then he just like he just kills that guy. He just stands up and like snaps his arm back.
Liquefied.
Yeah, like he just like crushed him, and he just like snaps his arm in place, and then you just kill everybody else.
Oh god.
Like, you can just lunge, and you can either attack the person or just grab him, and he'll just flip and toss him, and you can just toss people off the ledges. Then there are like people who have like fire powers who you fight. One of the coolest things was the regeneration. Like his body would get shot up, and you could like see his spine. And like sometimes I just stand there and get shot up just to see what it looked like. And his body would like slowly heal and renew, where the flesh would everything would come back. But it was cool. It was like you fight the people from the movie. Like you do play against Gambit and Sabretooth. For some reason I cannot remember who the end boss is. I don't know if it's Deadpool or not. I don't really remember. But like you fight Blob in the mall or in the supermarket instead of like the boxing thing, and they had Mystique was in it, which is pretty cool. And you fight the Sentinel at this one point. You're like up in space and you're like fighting the Sentinel falling through the ground and all types of crazy crap.
I gotta try that out.
It was really cool. They had like 2 versions too. They had like the Uncaged edition, which was the mature version, but they actually had a teen version, which I guess less blood and gore and stuff.
Less decapitation and evisceration.
But you can get like impaled on a spike and like pull yourself off.
Jesus.
You can hit yourself.
Since we're on the topic of X-Men and powers, and we did mention One Piece before, I've always asked everybody, and I don't know if I've asked you, and I think I might have, but you just never answered, and everyone answered for you. Superpowers. Or abilities. If you could have one, what would it be?
For a long time it was super speed because it's just it's useful. You can think faster and move faster, everything like that. But after a while, I think after maybe Infamous, I got the lightning powers the most because and it's something I do for like I'll tell you, it was like writing the stories and stuff. Like I did that for the main character because if you have lightning powers, you have multiple abilities.
Yes.
Because you can have all the powers of super speed if you have lightning powers. If you like train your body like that, because you can like charge your body, your cells, and all types of stuff like that. So you might not heal as fast as with super speed, but you can heal faster as an ability. And I think that would just be way cooler art. Lightning